dead bodies, holes, and I'd put them in the ground. And then,
Oh, so you put them in? You didn't take them out?
No. I would dig the grave. I'd be in the grave before the person, and then drop them in and close it up.
He wasn't asked to do this. It was just kind of
it's interesting. I was sort of tricked into it. I was a landscaper, and I drove and delivered mulch, in a dump truck. I would deliver mulch to people's driveways, and then the guy
I used to shovel that mulch over trees and dead bodies.
Yeah. So I got to drop that off, and then it turned into dropping off dead bodies. When my boss said, "Oh, you got to go to a cemetery that I also manage and cut the grass." So I then start cutting the grass. And then after a while of cutting the grass, he would show up and he said, "Oh, we got to dig a hole for a grave." And I was like, "What?" I had no idea. He didn't tell me this was going to be part of the job. And then that became the whole job after the last 2 years. I basically was just the gravedigger and landscaper at the cemetery. So, yeah.
What the heck?
It was really weird. I think he just kind of didn't want me to know.
Where did he get the bodies from?
Just around town.
Oh.
People dropping dead.
Did they throw them in there or did they put them in boxes?
I never saw the bodies. They were in a coffin. Sometimes I'd have to carry the coffin, but then the coffin would go into a cement case. So it's a cement block, and a cement lid, and then you bury the cement lid. And a lot of times there was only a foot of dirt on top of the whole thing. It's not that.
So they don't just throw a coffin in the ground.
They have to put it in a cement case. Well, that's Massachusetts. I don't know if every state is the same. I assume they are.
So do they do that to prevent people from grave digging?
It's to not have the casket rot. I think in case they have to exhume it and take it out and do stuff, it preserves it. It's just littering, basically. I think they should just let the body rot into the dirt. It's more natural, but
Yeah, but what happens if it comes alive?
It stops the zombie from getting out the cement. So
makes sense.
Yeah. But I will say, California, I shot a music video where I got into some graves. I actually did a live stream once on YouTube where I did a Ouija board in a cemetery. It was probably the scariest thing. I had to break into the cemetery in LA. It was wild, very scary. But
you already knew your way around it.
I didn't know way around. I wanted to go in the grave. So on my stream, I got in the grave, and I learned this time in the music video I shot in another cemetery in LA, the graves are super deep. So if you go in and you go, I was pushing against the dirt walls of the grave to lower myself in so my chat could see me pop out. And going in, you start sliding down the dirt. It was so high, you can't really climb. It couldn't jump and climb. It was so deep.
Okay.
And in Massachusetts, they're less than 6 feet, and this was 9 feet in Los Angeles. It was super deep. So
hear me out. I got a great idea.
Don't go in a grave; you might get stuck.
I got a great idea for an IRL stream.
Okay.
All right.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I'm down.
So you know your way around these parts, then.
Mm-hmm.
We've got shovels back down, back there by the hole.
Yeah, back down, of course.
We play a game. What's in the box? What's in the box?
Hey, it'll be like
go dig up a grave.
What is that show called with the loot boxes or with the storage containers? Storage
Wars.
Storage Wars.
Grave Wars.
Grave Wars.
We'll take bids from Chad. You can keep whatever's in this. Your body. All right. We'll just go by name. What do you think is the most valuable? Have you ever? Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a coffin malfunction while you recovered? Have you ever accidentally slipped and just kicked a hole through it?
No, the only thing that ever happened one time there was there's a thing, there's a lever that lowers the casket on these straps into the grave, and sometimes it would get jammed, and if it starts tipping too much, the casket can slide off. So you have to counter it, and it's just a little finicky. Nothing bad ever happened though. A weird thing that did happen, though, when lowering that down, usually you wait for the family to leave before you really lower it into the ground, but sometimes they want to see it. This one family was, partying and, I think you could have seen it as, they were happy this person is gone, but I think they were kind of, celebrating the fact that they were gone or had passed on, and they were, singing and dancing and taking pictures. They were taking pictures of me, lowering it in. I was like, this is so weird. I was, in these photos of the thing going down in the hole.
That's crazy.
It was. I was kind of young. I was 19 to 23, so I wasn't really thinking about this stuff. It didn't really affect me very much until later when I lived life and I've experienced it.
And then all of a sudden you're like, "Whoa, that was weird."
Yeah, it was kind of a messed up job.
that was kind of weird.
Yeah, at first it was just oh, I don't really want to do this, but whatever. I'll do anything for money right now. Yeah. But yeah, now it's kind of sad.
See, typically that whole "I'll do anything for money" doesn't really lead people to digging graves. Typically, that's typically a way. It's a different dig altogether. It's nothing like that, you know. Was it a fun job? It seems very solitary.
The best. It was nice when it was most of the time it was me alone in the cemetery cutting grass, and there was this fox that would always just come and visit me and sit there and look at me, and I would have my lunch breaks with the fox just like looking at me, and it was like I actually kind of missed those times because it was just quiet and it was like lots of spread out grass and trees everywhere. So that was kind of nice. There was nice moments, but then it was just very depressing when there's a crying family and that whole thing. And then there's the weirdest part. Like
you were like, "Can you shut up? I'm trying to dig."
Those crying families were really.
And you're like, turn around. And you're like, "They're gone. All right, they're not coming back."
It was sad, but I would have to sit in the distance at the dump truck and like wait for them to have the funeral. And I felt like a vulture kind of because I'm like sitting there, this dirty
just like
dude,
eating it,
like waiting for them to leave to then go put away their loved one. And I didn't like them seeing me like waiting because I felt like I'm the one that's like the Grim Reaper ending this whole thing, like making it final. I didn't like that. That would kind of get in my head.
Did anyone ever want to watch you finish the job?
Just that one family that was like taking pictures as I lowered them into the ground. That was the only one. Everyone else usually left, and then we finished it when they weren't there.
Did you put on a show at all? Did you look at the camera?
No. I was like,
he plays the final countdown and starts letting off fireworks.
Did you get into character?
No. I like hated it. It was weird.